night, the world-famous Bonneville Holiday Hams will be returning for their annual live Christmas radio play at 8 p.m. right here on KIRO Newsradio, and streaming, of course, our resident historian, Felix Spinell, who also happens to be the producer and the director.
What a coincidence.
It is. Very prestigious titles. Is here with a little preview, and we are all going to do a little bit of early morning radio thespianism.
Yes. So stand by. You won't want to. Don't leave the radio here. We're performing a Christmas Carol live on the radio with live actors and live sound effects. Like all great radio programming, it's live, local, and free. Right?
Yeah.
It's in the 8 p.m. hour tomorrow night on KIRO Nights. Now, Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens wrote that, was published in 1843. That's 180 years ago. So it's the 180th anniversary.
Gosh.
It's been performed on the radio since the very earliest years of radio drama in the 1920s. It's a great and timeless story with great characters. Now, this is the 24th annual holiday radio play that I produced. It began for me as a little cheap holiday programming when I was a deputy director at the Museum of History and Industry, and I was totally inspired by Jim French, the late KIRO host. He was keeping radio drama alive all throughout the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s. And so the DNA of the show is tied into this station for decades, which is pretty cool. Now, KIRO's carried it, the live radio Christmas play, I think since 2010 or 2012. Ask a real historian if you want the facts on that. I want to give, before we do our little scene, I want to do a little peek behind the drama casting preview who's going to be in the show tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
Now, David Burbank, I'm always trying to butter up that guy, so he's in it, of course. Jake Skorheim, had to give him a part. It's during his show, right? Aaron Granillo, the afternoon anchor, he agreed only on the condition there'd be free pizza for the cast.
Always.
I'm not making that up. Kate Stone, who's very enthusiastic and who offered to do the whole thing as a one-woman show. Actually.
She could do it. So she could do it.
If traffic interferes, something happens Friday, and it's just Kate and me tomorrow night, we will do the show. Hell or high water. Nick Krasia, the man in our midst with Titanic talents and 1,000 voices. You might remember him as the Russian captain in Dracula last year. Remember that? Anyway,
right.
Not a Russian accent, I think, this show. Lisa Brooks, our evening anchor, expertly narrating and singing. Diane Duthweiler is going to be a very festive Mrs. Fezziwig, and Mr. Fezziwig is my favorite character. I usually cast myself in that part. And then Jack Stein, against my better judgment, but we'll see how he turns out. And then Aaron Mason as Scrooge himself, playing against type, of course. Yeah.
I'm bummed today. I hate missing any radio. I think I've been a part of the Halloween and Christmas one for every year since you've done it, and I have to miss this one.
And honestly, we scheduled this pretty late because I'm working on this big project for our parent company in Salt Lake City that takes up most of my time.
Yeah, I
these
think you
days.
told me about it on Friday, and I was like, Felix.
Yeah. Usually, I'm sitting at home with nothing to do. I plan this 6-8 months in advance. I'm like, anyway.
But we're going to scratch that itch today,
But that's the beauty of radio, right? So in the scene we're going to do this morning, it's relatively early in the play. The ghost of Christmas past, as played by Travis, takes old Scrooge, played by Nick, to watch young Scrooge, played by David Burbank, have an interaction with his fiancée, Belle, played by Colleen. So we always start this off with a little bit of music. Let me see if I can get this music to play here. After the music starts, you guys do your drama magic. Have I given you enough direction? As a director, have I given you enough about your motivation?
More than you usually give us before we go live, honestly.
You're sounding like a seasoned vet over there.
Yeah, please do your bad English accents, right? Because we can never get it very straight.
I don't know.
No, I mean, try even if it sounds Australian or Afrikaans or whatever, especially if it changes during the scene, then you get extra points.
That always happens.
All right, here we start with our little musical cue.
This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here in this little room with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No. Spare me this.
You are older now.
No.
A man in the prime of life, thinking about running for office. Or maybe playing volleyball like George Santos.
Oh!
Your face has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice.
Oh.
You squint a lot. A lot, I say. Clear your throat, and you often stumble getting on and off airplanes.
No.
And you look so much older than you did just 4 years ago. Your eyes are greedy. The eager, restless eyes of a miser.
No, please.
She knows it too, that girl by your side. There are tears in her eyes. Listen, Ebenezer.
It matters little to you. Very little. I know that.
Belle, have I changed towards you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Better to be poor?
Better, at least, to be happy. You've changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. You blame me because I've grown wiser. Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no. Never.
In what? In what then?
Don't interrupt me. In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So, I release you from your promise.
Belle!
Oh, at first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain, but soon it will be dim like a half-remembered dream, an unprofitable dream. And you will be glad to be awake from such a dream.
No!
May you be happy in the life you've chosen, Ebenezer, for the love of whom you once loved.
Spirit, that's enough. Show me no more. Take me home.
These were shadows of the things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me.
No more. No more. No.
Yes, Ebenezer, one shadow more. Come, Scrooge.
I wanted more bad English accents there, but I'll give you extra credit for not reading the within the parentheses where it says "very anguished." Thanks for not reading the stage directions. That was good. And with the amount of direction you got, I think that was pretty darn good. That's just a little taste of what's to come tomorrow night with our cast.
I love these plays so much.
So tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. It'll be a podcast if you can't listen to it live. Now, one other quick thing I want to mention today. It's December 6th. It's St. Nicholas Day, right? So Santa Claus. In 1943, Santa Claus photos, department store photos, were invented in Seattle.
What? I had no idea.
A PI photographer, Art French, the PI's building used to be a kitty corner from Frederick and Nelson, which is now Nordstrom.
Yeah.
He was sitting there watching kids line up for Santa Claus and thought, I could take pictures of that. So a year later, in 1944, he set up a little franchise and took pictures. And he took really good pictures with a large format camera. And there's a Santa named Dave Harris, who was also a radio actor, played Santa at Frederick's from 1942 to 1968 or something like that. And so on my Facebook page, I'm collecting people's pictures. I put a post up last night, and more than 20 people have already posted their vintage Santa Claus department store photos.
Cute.
And you get extra points if it's Dave Harris, this Frederick and Nelson Santa Claus, or just any vintage Santa Claus from anywhere around the Northwest. I want to see how many we can collect over the next couple weeks. We'll put something on My Northwest, but my Facebook page is a place to go. It's a terrific local story. Not many people remember.
Have you noticed that vintage Santas didn't try very hard? The
What do you
beard's
mean?
always kind of askew.
Oh no, not Dave Harris.
No,
Dave
not
Harris.
Dave Harris?
Look at there's in the photos. They're so rich because it's a beautiful large format camera. There's all this detail. A lot of times the camera was hidden. And so the kid doesn't even know. Art French
Yeah.
snaps a picture at just the right moment.
cool.
I think
Wow.
in that 1944 year he did it the first time. He took 3 weeks off from the PI. He made 4 times his annual salary.
yeah, of
and
course
said,
he did.
I don't think I'm going to be taking pictures of the
Yeah.
PI. I'm going to work 3 weeks a year and make 4 times. Anyway, but it's a great national thing that has its origins right here in Seattle.
Crazy.
And these just beautiful, beautiful photos. So go to my Facebook page and share your Santa photos there so everyone can look at them. Let's see how many hundreds we can collect before it gets to be Christmas time 2023.
Let's do it. Felix, thank you very much.